Good morning and welcome to another episode of Try Bonsai. It's your boy Banner, and today, my friends, it's the 11th of February. It is, woo-wee, it is Carnival Sunday here in Trinidad and Tobago, and it's the day before our 2-day celebration of Carnival. So, and that's that. So it's Carnival Sunday. So a lot of people gearing up for Monday and Tuesday to get on the road and to show off the costume and the whatnot and the whatnot. Right? But today, friends, I know you're seeing this in your view. This, my friends, is a root ball. This root ball was removed from a bigger Styrax planting, bonsai plant. And the plant was root bound and it was repotted, and this root ball was taken. So, I took the opportunity to try an experiment. And the experiment was to take this root ball and to keep wetting it to see what would happen, what would come of it. And, as you know, I would have said it in a video before, certain plants you are able to grow a new plant from a root. Styrax is one of them. So I kept wetting this root ball, wetting the root ball, and as you could see, it exploded in growth. Totally exploded in growth. Right, so let me give you guys a little in-depth look at the root ball, and then we go talk about what we're gonna do with this root ball. Alright? Try bonsai. So my friends, as you can see, you're looking at this mass of roots. As you can see, I have it in a plastic bag because just how I get it, just so I leave it. And I've been wetting this for months. Now, if you look closely here, you can see where it was cut. And the tool of choice was a sawzall. So it was cut and the top part repotted, and I took this base and boy oh boy, all the look flowers. It has grown tremendously. So today what we're going to do is I am going to dissect this root ball and see how many plants I can get from this root ball. Now, a little point to note, the majority of the growth is coming from this point here, right? And we have little tidbits of growth happening like here, as you can see, and you see another one right here, you know. So I'm going to try to see how much of this I could salvage and how many new plants I could create from this. Now, friends, I asked one or two of my friends what to do, what do you think I should do? And a couple of them gave the suggestion of leaving this as is, neatening up, of course, and growing it as a forest, which is not such a bad idea, you know, because if you come down and you look into it, you're going to see a lot of new growth coming up, which essentially could make something of a forest. But my initial reason for taking this was, one, to experiment and see if it would grow, how well it would grow, and to create individual trees. Because when I pull out these roots, I expect that these roots going to have some gnarly twists and curves and bends and all kind of thing that wire and man can't create. Natural bends, natural twists. So I'm going with that plan. What do you think? Yeah? So the plan is, I'm going to get my root rake, I'm going to get my root hook, and I'm going to get to work trying to take this apart as quickly and as neatly as possible so that I don't damage too much of the roots, because I don't want to lose anything. I try my best not to lose nothing, right? I want to keep everything, and let me see where's the happenings here. All right. So, as I usually say, let me just go. All right, my friends. So, hook in hand, and I'm going to get to work. Let me stabilize this thing a bit. I'm going to get to work trying to take this root ball apart. Now, I'll be honest with you. This may not necessarily be one video. This might be a two-part something, because this is quite a big ball of roots here, and it tight. It's very, very compact. It's real compact, and I'll go see what I could do. All you know, I like the adventure. Nothing like a good adventure in bonsai, you know. Aye. So I'm going to try my best to dissect this and see what we get from this. Oh yes, friends. So I cutting, I digging, and I digging plenty of nothing. I feel like I'm going nowhere fast. So I have a old wooden saw here. A old wood saw. Sorry, not a wooden saw, a wood saw. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this in half like this and see if that will make life any easier. Hopefully, I was hoping not to do that because I wanted to maintain as many of the roots as possible. But unless I decide that I'm going to put this to soak for a few days well to loosen up, I'm going to have to cut. So I'm looking for a safe space to cut where I would have the least amount of damage. And there we go. Again, at this stage, it would have been nice to have had a power tool. No, my friends, you see how far I reach? I got a good bit out, and this is just one piece of 3 pieces because I would have, as you would have seen before, I cut this root ball down as it was not manageable in the size that it was in. Now, the thing is, how many of these would survive with this type of work is left to be seen. I have high hopes. I have very, very high hopes. You know, so I'm continuing with the extractions, trying to salvage as many as possible. you know, and we're going with it. We are going with it. Well, it is a big piece of work, you know. It's a real big piece of work, right? Jeez. Yeah. All right, my friends. Whew. It has been quite a long time. When did I start? Can't remember when I started. All right. So at least an hour has passed, and I was able to take the root ball apart. And this, my friends, are all of the little roots that I try to salvage. As you can see, it's a good bit. And it's not until I take it out, then you'll be able to see how many I was able to extract from this. Now, as I said, the big thing now is if they go survive, right? I don't feel like I'm inclined to put them in pots immediately. What I feel I want to do is to let them soak in this bucket of water overnight and then put them into pots. It may work, it may not work, but how else you go learn if you don't try something, right? So, I will see you all tomorrow in part 2, either tomorrow or later, because I have a next run to go and make. I have a next run to go and make, right? So, this is what we were able to extract from that root ball. I had to cut the root ball into parts in order to really and truly get to the potential plants from it. So, in the second part of this video, we're going to pot them up. In the meantime, I'm going to leave them to soak at least for a few hours, or if I'm so inclined, overnight. All right? See you soon. So, my friends, it's the following day, and the plants and them living in the bucket. Supposedly, we go see what happening. So, the plan now is to take out each of these plants and put them in pots. Now, some of them may go into pots as a group, some as individuals. I don't have that very many pots, but I'm working with what I have. The thing about it is, right now, we just want to make sure that a lot of them survive. We want to try to keep as much of them alive as possible so that they could become future trees. So you're looking at the pots, you're looking at the potential plants here, and I have to say potential plants here. And I have here the soil mix, a series of pots that were laying around that I would have used before. So now we're going to get to potting up these plants. And as I raise my camera, you can see some of my stuff in the back there. All right, so let me just go. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be pulling out each plant and assigning it to a pot. I will not try to put a plant in an overly sized pot, you know, based on what it is. And you know what I'm missing? I'm missing my tools. So hold on. All right, so I have some tools here and I have some pots. Let's see how quickly we could go through this jam session. So as I pull out the first one, as you can see, this was where the Sawzall did its work. This is somewhat some kind of roots. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off this L and I'm going to plant it. And let's hope that by taking off this L, these straggler roots survive and feed it. And in future, what we could do further work to create a better root ball. But for now, we have roots on one side. Let's hope that that is enough for this plant to survive. All right. So I'm going to take off some of the foliage as well because it's a little long. I need all of that bacchanal. And I'm measuring up. This is good enough. So that is the happenings day. All right. We're good. All right, friends. So as I put this first specimen into dirt, I'm making sure that I have the dirt around the the roots. Wow, like it have roots. I'm gonna press down a little bit to stabilize it. And now I'm gonna remove some of this foliage. So taking into consideration what could potentially be the apex and not making any rash decisions, but as I said, trying to ensure the survival of these specimens, right? So I have, as you can see, a very long branch coming out this way. I also have another branch here. Let me bring you in for a better look. So as you can see, my friends, I have this main leader here. And then if I turn the planting around, you're going to see that I have two branches coming out the same spot and another branch on the underneath here. Now this may not necessarily serve as an underneath, but if you look at it closely, there's a difference between the trunk and this piece on top here. So that's a bulge that doesn't necessarily look good in the grand scheme of things. So I'm going to cut back and I'm going to remove a few items. And I believe by removing a few items, it will take the strain off of the roots or the development of new roots. And this thing will take off. So that is what I'm going to do right now. Remove some of this excess foliage and branches, all the unnecessary ones. And that is the attack that we're going to take for each one of these plants that we take out of the bucket as we go along. So we're going again. Okay, my friends, this is one of many, as you would have seen before. And I would have made some drastic cuts, removing a good bit of foliage. And I should cut this back. I'm going to cut this back, roughly for now, just to get it out of my way. I'll further prune it to a branch, to a leaf facing in the direction that I want this to go. So it comes up and it makes a turn like this. So this can be perceived as an inside branch, which is on the arm. But if I do a little bit of carving, a little more carving, it could become a pretty decent feature. So I'm not condemning it for now, right? And as you can see, I made a concave cut here to try to reduce that bulge as best as I can without removing too much of this thing. I might make another cut here and try to salvage, try to not cut off this, or I could leave this for now and do some work with it later. As I said, I don't want to do too much, although I feel like I'm losing sight of what I'm supposed to do. But this is one of many. So when I come back, we're going to look at what I did with the rest of them. Yeah? All right. Good vibes. Okay, my friends. So we're going slow and steady. These are the ones that I potted up. I potted up thus far, and I still have a few to go. What I did not disclose, or what I started to realize as I was going along the way, is that some of these don't make sense putting in pot at all. But that's a whole next story. Anywho's, hopefully the ones that are in pots and the ones that I am yet to put in pots will survive, and we're keeping this thing going. All right? All right, my friends. So they all potted up. Now we're going to wet them as you see it. And we're hoping for a high success rate. Now, I would have removed some roots from some of them because they were the big roots and not the fine feeder roots. So why I say I'm hoping for a high success rate is because some of them did not necessarily have fine feeder roots. So let's see if this experiment works well and that this particular species of plant, which is the Styrax or water jasmine, would now shoot fine feeder roots for the survival of the plant. So all in all, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 something. 15 something. Because this pot here is a set that I would have discarded, but I say, you know what, let me just stick them in a pot and see what happens, if anything happens. If they survive, if any of these survive, I would be very grateful and very thankful. And it's a lesson that I would have learned in propagating. Whether they survive, yes or no, it's all a lesson anyways. So, my friends, it's Carnival Monday here in Trinidad and Tobago, the following day. And from that root ball, this is what I was able to extract and plant up. Now, I have something else to show you, because I did not discard the rest of the root ball. What I did is stick it in a pot, and I'm going to keep wetting it, and let's see if it will create even more potential plants. I don't know. I really don't know. So always stick around Right? Stick around, my friends, because these are learning something for all of we here, you know? So let me show you this. Hold on. So, my friends, you're seeing the rest of the root ball in this pot here, so. And I'm going to continuously wet it. I ain't expecting anything, you know. I'm not expecting anything at all. But if I get something, we learning something else again. So there are multiple plants that can be created from one Styrax, one well. What I'm going to say, boy, a Styrax that grow well, that has a lot of good roots, good, nice, thick roots. You can remove those, just like how you could do the same with ficus, and you could do the same with candle tree. So those are the 3 species that I know so far that you could do this type of work with. Anywho's, as we back on these that I just potted up, Lord Father, yeah. My words getting tied up, my tongue tying up. So as we back on these that I just potted up, I want to thank you so very, very much for joining. Thank you to all the new subscribers and all the people who will subscribe. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the suggestions. Keep them coming. You know, share the word, share the channel, and let's move forward together. Now, in a couple videos ago, I would have featured my friend Heather McIntosh and her take on climate change, and it's a very serious thing. We are all at risk. We are all at risk. So, my friends, do something green today. I hear Nigel saying that. So thanks for that, Nigel. Do something green today. And as I usually say, take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. And I will see you all soon. All right. Bye.